Usually my posts are very happy-go-lucky, but this is not a very happy-go-lucky post. One of my coworkers has been detained by ICE, and we just now found out about this about a week after his being detained. He no-showed all 4 of his shifts last week, and we couldn't get a hold of him on the phone. We couldn't see that he was active on social, so we looked online and looked at the ICE website to see current detainees. We looked at the current arrest records for Dallas County and all the other surrounding areas, and there was absolutely nothing. To the people that love and care about him, he was a fully missing person for over a week. He is seriously one of the kindest, happiest people that I've ever met in my entire life. Literally just faces everything with a smile on his face no matter what, and is so undeserving of the hand that he's being dealt by life right now. I've already donated $100 of my own money to try and help pay for some of his legal fees, but I definitely want to take any money that I make from the Creator Fund from this post and donate it to help with legal fees, because it's so important to me to get him out of this situation, and to all of the people that we work with that love and care about him. So if anyone can just comment, share anything to help boost this post, I would appreciate it more than you would know.
We have some massive breaking news right now coming out of Los Angeles, where 2 Homeland Security agents in plain clothes tried to access elementary schools in Los Angeles. They wanted to question 5 kids who came into this country as unaccompanied minors yet are living with legal guardians. These kids are between the ages of 1st grade and 5th grade. They told the principals at the schools that they had permission from the legal guardians of these children to question them. They didn't. They lied. The agents didn't have a warrant. They didn't have permission, and yet they still tried to enter 2 elementary schools to try to question 1st graders as young as 1st grade. Now, it's not fully clear why they were there and why they would lie to the principals at the schools. This is highly, highly concerning. Now, the Los Angeles Unified School District is currently working with its legal team to see what it could do in response. I'm going to do a full breakdown of what this all means for you and your kids at schools across the country on my Substack, linked in my bio at the top of the link tree. Follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
My husband, Kilmer, was abducted and disappeared by the Trump administration. It's been 28 days since I lost on my husband. This so-called administration error has destroyed my family's happiness, my children's innocence. Kilmer, if you can hear me, I'm still fighting for you.
ICE is abducting and disappearing leaders in our communities. The list of people they've abducted continues to grow. They've abducted people who have organized and spoken out against the genocide of Palestinians. They've abducted people who have organized and spoken out for immigrant rights. They've abducted people who have spoken up and organized for workers' rights. ICE abducted Tufts University grad student Rumeysa Ozturk. ICE abducted Columbia student Mahmoud Khalil. ICE abducted farmer worker rights organizer Layla Juarez. ICE abducted University of Alabama student Ali Reza Daroudi. ICE abducted immigrant rights organizer Jeanette Vizquera. ICE abducted Georgetown University fellow Badar Khansari. These are just some examples of the prominent voices abducted by ICE. That's not all. ICE is actively trying to abduct other people and remove them. ICE is targeting 21-year-old Columbia student Yun So Chung. The State Department revoked Mamadou Tal's visa and is now trying to abduct and remove him. In the face of these inhumane and cruel attacks, the community is coming together. In Massachusetts, a tribute was created for Rumeysa Ozturk in the spot where ICE abducted her. We'll continue to loudly say that immigrants are welcome here and we're here to stay. If you want to find ways to fight alongside immigrants, text "here to stay" to 78757.
Charlie Doom is a conflict specialist. She often risked her life working for the U.S. State Department in places such as Somalia and Myanmar. When Charlie learned she'd been laid off, she was serving at that time as the Deputy Director for Economic Growth and Food Security Coordinator for Burma for USAID, and was based in Thailand along with her family, which included a small child and a pregnant wife. At the time, her wife was 31 weeks pregnant and suffering medical complications deemed life-threatening to both her and the baby. But their request for a medical evacuation was denied, not once, but twice by the U.S. State Department. The family has been stuck in Bangkok, Thailand, where her wife just gave birth.
My wife was the first person that I have been able to find in the entire 61-year history of USAID that was denied an obstetric medical evacuation, which is a standard right of all Foreign Service officers and their families. And she was denied that right because Peter Morocco and others that are part of this administration deemed the funding for medical evacuation and hospitalization support for USAID officers wasn't necessary. And so they zeroed that line item out.
You have spoken to U.S. senators and members of the House for help. Have they been supportive at all? And now that your wife has given birth and thankfully your baby girl's okay, what are the next steps to get you all back to the United States?
It started with Mitch McConnell reaching out initially to overturn the denial, the first two denials of the medical evacuation. Unfortunately, that wasn't, it didn't happen in time, and my wife did hemorrhage and then spent, as you mentioned, 7 weeks on bed rest in between hospitals and at home. Because my wife has had a hemorrhage and also lost more blood during the C-section than she should have. She is, again, still at increased risk for further hemorrhage. So we're going to try to keep her on light duty as much as possible and make sure that she's healthy before we get on a plane to get back to America at some point.
To anyone who's worried about maybe getting disappeared by the federal government, you should listen up. There are 2 apps I think you should know about. First of all is the website deadmanswitch.net. It will check in on you periodically, and it will email your emergency contact if it hasn't heard from you. The other is an app called SnugSafe that's completely free. It will actually check in on you once a day, and if you don't respond to it, it will text your emergency contact. There are paid versions that offer more features, but the basic version is free. These are even great options for if you live alone or if you live away from family. Obviously, we don't want to need these things, but they're good to know about. Pass it on.
More breaking news, a leaked memo from the State Department says that if you are a F, M, or J student, anytime from October 7, 2023 until August 2024, or if you're applying now, there's a mandatory check of your social media platforms. And if they find anything derogatory, they're supposed to screenshot it and send it to the state. And just today, hundreds of F1 students have received emails revoking their status, telling them to self-deport and report to the embassies for physical cancellation of their visas.
The Pentagon has removed major news organizations like the New York Times and NBC from their in-house offices as part of a new media rotation program. But what is that? Let me explain. On January 31st, the United States Department of Defense sent out a memo titled the New Annual Media Rotation Program for Pentagon Press Corps. The memo announced it would be removing news organizations that have had offices in the Pentagon for years and that they must vacate to make room for new organizations. The memo centers around office spaces dedicated to news organizations that work in the Pentagon, known as the Correspondence Corridor. These are office spaces loaned by the Secretary of Defense. The goal of the Correspondence Corridor is to provide media with coveted open access to some of the department's top military and civilian leaders, and to inform the public about the U.S. military and its missions. The new annual media rotation program is now stating that each year there will be a rotation of press medium out of the building to bring in a new outlet of the same medium. Per the memo, the following media outlets will need to vacate their offices by February 14th. For print, the New York Times, TV, NBC News, radio, NPR, and online news, Politico. The following media outlets will take take their place. For print, the New York Post; TV, One America News Network; radio, Breitbart News Network; online news, the Huffington Post. At the end of the memo, it stated that the vacated outlets will remain members of the Pentagon Press Corps and maintain the same access to the Pentagon they've previously enjoyed, including briefings and consideration for travel with civilian military leaders. This decision has sparked controversial reactions. Charlie Stadlander, a New York Times spokesman, said this move to expel the Times and other independent fact-based news outlets from the Pentagon's press spaces is a concerning development. A spokeswoman for the New York Post said, as one of the most engaged, impactful, and far-reaching media brands in the country, it only makes sense for us to have a reporter at the Pentagon. What do you think of the press rotation program at the Pentagon? Let us know in the comments.
These are all the words that you can't use in a grant anymore. I'm going to use them to explain to you why we have grants. Historically, marginalized groups of people like the BIPOC community, specifically the BIPOC community, face systemic racism. Due to discrimination, they were not allowed to get nice jobs because we didn't have diversity, equality, and inclusivity. Due to this, it affected their socioeconomic status. So the government had to give them grants in order to help them get houses and go to school. And then we opened up those grants to women and other communities, including the LGBT and people with disabilities. I feel especially angry for this group of people because racism didn't just disappear. It happens every fucking day. Why do you think they're getting rid of the DEI programs? Why do you think that they're getting rid of the grants? It's right there. It's right there.
This is a sketch I wrote called The History of Wealth Throughout History. Enjoy. You've made quite a lot of money this year, sir. You can buy 10 slaves.
Oh, well, that is good news.
And you can buy 10 slaves.
I'll take 10 slaves then.
You made quite a lot of money this year, sir.
Oh, well, that is good news indeed.
Once again, congratulations.
What can I buy?
You can buy 20 slaves.
Well, then I'll take 20 slaves.
You can buy 30 slaves.
30 slaves?
You can buy 40 slaves.
40 slaves.
50 slaves.
60 slaves.
60.
70.
80.
90.
You can't buy slaves anymore.
What? No more slaves? Why not?
Well, it's a law. What? That's just been passed. So now slaves are illegal in this country. Apologies.
Oh, what's going to happen to my slaves?
No more slaves.
I'm just supposed to go out there to the market and see Jamal and say, hey, Jamal, let's be friends even though I own you?
Well, you don't own him. Stop reminding me. You could buy a steel company. You could buy a mining factory.
Fine.
A sheep's farm.
That's
You could
fine.
buy a
Go
private
ahead, buy
jet,
that.
A yacht.
Yes.
A Miami condominium.
Take 3
a
jets.
A super yacht. A company.
Okay, I'll take
you could
a
buy
super
a
yacht.
football
Fine.
team. You could buy an election.
What was that?
You could buy an election, sir.
Oh. Well, that sounds very nice. I'll take one of those. What else?
You could buy a president.
Yes, that sounds good. I'll take one of those. What else?
You could buy your way into the government.
And
Control all the levers of wealth throughout the nation. Throughout the world.
what else?
Well, sir, that's pretty good. I think we can stop there.
There's something else and you know it.
No, there's not.
There's something more and you know it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I
actually
want.
don't know.
Why are you holding back? If I own the government and the government makes the laws, then I can buy whatever I want.
Okay, fine, you can buy slaves again.
Yes, I knew it!
With the help of everyone here tonight, the golden age of America has officially begun, and the golden age of just this whole thing, the red states, it's going to be leading the way to making our country richer and safer and stronger than ever before. The red states are going to do good, and the blue states, I don't know, maybe they'll totally disappear off that map.
32 years, and this is truly one of the most exciting periods in my career with the company. Having just wrapped up a strong 2024, we're anticipating significant growth opportunities, perhaps the most significant growth in our company's history over the next several years. We believe CoreCivic is exceptionally well positioned operationally and financially to meet what we expect to be a sharp acceleration demand from our partners, particularly our key federal partners, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and the United States Marshal Service.
Just to be clear, in case there's any confusion, CoreCivic is a private prison company. It's correct. They make money off of incarcerating people. Now, when their CEO, Damon T. Hornyfinger, or whatever his name was, said they're anticipating the most significant growth in their company's history, what that means is he's anticipating that they're going to get very rich off of throwing people in prison. And in this case, as he referenced, throwing immigrants in prison because of their federal partners, ICE. Now, call this a hot take all you want, but I just don't think that a for-profit prison model should exist. I don't think that there should be a financial incentive to put somebody in prison. That kind of perverts the justice system, in my opinion.
They came to the wrong neighborhood. Yeah.
Sometimes it has to get ugly before it can get pretty.
And you feel as a mom it's important to
Absolutely.
have your kids see it.
Absolutely. Be a part of something like this. It's sad that we're still living in these times today. It's sad that it's still happening today. But it is what it is.
Bring that shit to a historical black neighborhood. Don't ever bring that shit to a historical black neighborhood. Fuck the police.
Burn that bitch up. Burn that bitch burn. Let that bitch burn. I'm out.
Don't they ever do no shit like that. Come to a historical black neighborhood.
Who got a gun pointing at us, bro? Let's go.